The Lost Blanket, story and pictures by Christine Grayden. I can't find the blue blanket. Mum looked worried. Did anyone pack the blanket after our picnic way back in that park? Oh, Mum, don't tell me we've lost the blanket. We can't go back to get it now. It's night time. Never mind, Mum assured the family. I'm sure someone else will find it and give it a good home. So, what happened to the lost blanket? During the night, a possum mother with a joey on her back came down from the tree to investigate the blanket. The possum mother was sure it had never been there before. She and her baby had a lovely game with the blanket, running over it and around it, poking their noses underneath. They even found an apple core from the family's picnic to share. The possums were very happy. After a while, they grew too hungry to play anymore, so they wandered off to the forest to feed on juicy gum leaves and blossom. At dawn, a swamp wallaby came shyly down to drink at the lake. He found the blanket, which was exactly where he usually lay to rest in the early morning sun. So he had a drink at the lake and lay down on the blanket, which was warm and cosy. The wallaby was very happy. Soon the sun began to rise higher in the sky, and the wallaby hopped away to seek shelter for the day among the bracken ferns in the forest. Early in the morning, a big goanna came lumbering along. He'd just been in the lake, and his legs and feet were very muddy. He wanted to get to the forest and walked right over the blanket with his muddy feet to get there. Walking over the blanket cleaned his claws for him. The goanna was very happy. Soon he ambled off in search of a tree to climb, where he could bask in the sun for the morning. In the afternoon, a man and his dog came along. They were out for a run together in the off-leash park. While the man sat by the lake, the dog found the blanket. She snuffled around and under it, smelling the family and their picnic and the other animals. She had a great time. The dog was very happy. She grew hot from her playing, so she bounded off to swim in the lake, then continued her run with her owner. In the late afternoon, 2 children came down with a dip net on a long cane pole to dip in the shallows of the lake. They were being little scientists, sampling the water for small creatures. They found the blanket all crumpled up in a heap near the edge of the lake. Together they folded it neatly and used the blanket to see the creatures in the dip net. Bright little backswimmers, water boatmen, flatworms, tadpoles and lots of duckweed. Then they put them all back in the water. The little scientists were very happy. Once the sun was low in the sky, the children picked up the very dirty blanket and took it home. Their father put it straight into the laundry, next to the pet rat's cage. There, the pet white rat smelt the blanket beside her rat house. When the children came in to have a last play with her, she suddenly scuttled away and disappeared. They knew she would appear for breakfast, though. The pet rat was hiding in the crinkles of blanket. There she spent hours sniffing around, smelling wonderful smells of picnic, possums, goanna, wallaby, dog, lake, and the children. Then she curled up into the warm folds of the blanket and went soundly to sleep. The pet rat was very happy. When the children came into the laundry in the morning, the rat was hungry and came out to meet them. They cuddled her, then put her into her cage with a slice of apple. The next morning, 3 brown moths with feathery antennae came flying around the garden. After breakfast, the children took the blanket outside to shake it. Their mother washed it and left it to dry all day on the clothesline in the warm sunshine. Just after lunchtime, the moths flew over and clung to the blanket for warmth as they rested there a while. So did the beetle. The moths were very happy. Before the dew of evening fell, the children and their mother came out and gently shook the moths off. They took the blanket inside and placed it on the little boy's bed. The children had decided to take turns to have the blanket on their beds. But before they went to sleep, they lay together on the blanket and read some favourite books.
She was sitting one day at her desk in her school in her usual way, when she felt a small twitch on the top of her head. So Maisie looked up and she almost dropped dead. Something peculiar was going on there. A daisy was sprouting right out of her hair.
They were sad for the people who had lost the blanket, but at least the lost blue blanket had a new home now. It was cosy and soft under them as they lay there reading. The children were very happy. Finally they snuggled down into their beds and went quietly to sleep. The blue blanket had found a new home. The blanket had certainly had many adventures over the last 2 days. The moonlight glowed all around the room, which was rich with special toys, books, shells, rocks, pictures of animals, and a scatter of brightly coloured clothes and shoes. The blanket was very happy.